Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Munira Hussain from MJB Government Girls PG College, Indore, Madhya Pradesh. Today we are going to talk on the module Composition and Nutritive Value of Milk from paper Food Science. Students, in this module, we are going to discuss in details about the nutritional aspects of the milk along with its physiochemical properties and the composition. As you know, milk is a most important and adorable food to everybody, or I can say every born mammalian who by default takes her mother's milk at first food. This first food not only gives newborn a confidence to survive in this open world after being a close and secure world of her mother's womb, but also gives a balance of nutrition to thrive, grow, develop. So, dear students, it is perfect to say that milk is a complete food for the newborn. It is a high density nutritious component of the food kingdom. Milk is also an ideal food for all age groups. It has more importance in vegetarian diet because it supplies body building proteins, bone forming minerals and health giving vitamins and furnishes energy giving lactose and milk fat. Besides supplying certain essential fatty acids, it contains the above nutrients in an easily digestible and assimilable form. All these properties make milk an important food for pregnant women, growing children, adolescents, adults, invalid, convalescents, people and patients alike. So students, this module will make you understand in details about the composition and nutritive value of the milk. This module will be going to learn the structure and composition of milk, identify factors affecting composition of milk and to understand nutritive value of the milk. So students, because milk is produced by the nature as a food source for the newborn and young children, so all of its contents provide benefits for its growth. The principal requirements of the living beings are energy, which is given by the milk in the form of lipids, lactose and proteins, biosynthesis of non-essential amino acids supplied by its proteins, which are rich in essential amino acids and amino groups, essential fatty acids, vitamins and inorganic elements, and water. Butterfat is a triglyceride fat formed from fatty acids such as mesteric, palmitic and endoleic acids. In this way, milk supply essential nutrition to all forms of the life, that is from infants to a young school-going girl, a budding professional to a pregnant woman who caters a fetus along with herself. Let's start with the composition of milk. First, we will see what is the quality of milk. Factors that determine the quality of fresh milk, the standard indicators are total solid contents, which includes protein, which should be of minimum 2.7%, fats minimum 3%, and solid non-fat contents must be minimum of 8%. Milk is an emulsion or colloid of butterfat globules within a water-based fluid that contains dissolved carbohydrates and proteins, aggregates with minerals. Dear students, now we will discuss the factors affecting milk composition. There are some factors which can influence the quality of the milk, including feed given to the cattle, genetic order of the cattle, climatic conditions, the health status of the cattle, milking process and the storage conditions, and the post-harvest handling of the milk. First comes interval between milkings. The fat content of milk varies considerably between the morning and the evening milking because there is usually a much shorter interval between the morning and the evening milking than between the evening to the morning milking. If cows were milked at 12-hour intervals, the variation in fat content between milking would be negligible. But this is not particularly and practically possible in most of the farms. Normally, SNF means solid non-fat content varies little even if the intervals between milking are vary. Second comes stages of the lactation. The fat and lactose and the protein content of milk vary according to the stage of the lactation. Solid non-fat content is usually highest during the first 2 to 3 weeks, after which it decreases slightly. Fat content is high immediately after calving, but soon begins to fall and continues to do so for 10 to 12 weeks, after which it tends to rise again until the end of the lactation. Other factor is age of the cattle. As cows grow older, the fat content of their milk decreases by about 0.2 percentage units per lactation. The fall in SNF content is much greater. Other factor is feeding regime. Underfeeding reduces both the fat and the SNF content of the milk. Although SNF content is more sensitive to feeding level than the fat content. Fat content and fat composition are influenced more by the roughage of the cattle. The SNF content can fall if the cow is fed a low energy diet, but is not greatly influenced by the protein deficiency unless the deficiency is very acute and severe. The other factor is the disease of the cattle. Both fat and SNF contents can be reduced by disease, particularly mastitis. Next factor is the completeness of the milking, how milking has been drawn out. The first milk grown from the other is low in fat, while the last milk is always quite high in fat. Thus, it is essential to mix thoroughly all the milk removed before taking a sample for analysis. The fat left in the other at the end of the milking is usually picked up during subsequent milking, so there is no late loss of the fat occurs. Now we will discuss about the milk proteins. Normal bovine milk contains 30 to 35 grams of protein per liter, of which about 80% is arranged in casein micelles. The largest structure in the fluid portion of the milk are casein micelles, aggregates of several thousands protein molecules with superficial resemblance to a surfactant micelles bonded with the help of nanometer scale particles of calcium phosphate. Each casein micelle is roughly spherical and about a tenth of a micrometer across. There are 4 different types of casein proteins, that is alpha S1, alpha S2, beta and kappa caseins. Collectively, they make up around 76 to 86% of the proteins in the milk by its weight. Most of the casein proteins are bound into the micelles. Students, now we will discuss about the other important component of the milk, that is carbohydrates. Milk contains several different carbohydrates including lactose, glucose, galactose and other oligosaccharides. The lactose gives milk its sweet taste and contributes approximately 40% of whole cow's milk calories. Lactose is a disaccharide composite of two simple sugars, glucose and galactose. Bovine milk averages 4.8% anhydrous lactose, which amounts to about 50% of the total solids of skim milk. Levels of lactose are dependent upon the type of milk, as other carbohydrates can be present at higher concentrations than lactose in milks. Dear students, now we will briefly discuss about the composition and structure of the milk. We will also look at how these previously described components of milk sustain in it, how their typical format play role in milk cookery and its preparation of huge varieties of milk products. When we see milk by naked eyes, it looks more uniform liquid. However, the liquid is turbid and thus cannot be homogeneous. With a projection, we can see spherical droplets consisting of fats. These globules float in a liquid of the plasma. And with more projection, the plasma contains like proteinaceous particles, which are casein micelles, are also visible, and the remaining liquid looks still opalescent. The fat globules have a thin outer layer or membrane of different constitutions. The surface layer or membrane of the fat globule is not an adsorption layer of one single substance, but consists of many components. Its structure is complicated. The dry mass of the membrane is about 2.5% of that of the fat. A small part of the lipids of milk is found outside the fat globules. At temperatures below 35 degrees Celsius, part of the fat in the globules can crystallize and it comes over the surface like a scum. Dear students, we will discuss now about the casein. Casein exists in casein micelles, which is consist of water, protein and salts. The protein is basically casein. Casein is present as a caseinate, which means that it binds cations, primarily calcium and magnesium. The other salts in the micelles occur as calcium phosphate, varying somewhat in composition and also containing a small amounts of citrates from milk to milk. This is often called colloidal phosphate. The whole may be called calcium caseinate or calcium phosphate complex. The casein micelles are just small particles. The micelles have an open structure and accordingly contain much water, a few grams per gram of casein. Milk serum. Milk serum is a liquid in which the micelles are dispersed. It is milk minus fat globules and casein micelles. Beside these important components, that is milk, proteins, fats and carbohydrates, milk also contains salts, minerals and vitamins. Minerals or milk salts are traditional names for a variety of cations and anions within bovine milk. Calcium, phosphate, magnesium, sodium, potassium, citrate and chlorine are all included as minerals and they typically occur at concentration of 5 to 40%. The milk salts strongly interact with casein, most notably calcium phosphate. It is present in excess and often much greater excess of solubility of solid calcium phosphate. In addition to calcium, milk is a good source of many other vitamins: vitamin A, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, vitamin C, D, vitamin K, vitamin E, thiamine, niacin, biotin, riboflavin, folates, and pantothenic acid are all present in milk. Serum proteins are largely present in milk in molecular form or as very small aggregates. Lipoprotein particles, which is sometimes called milk microsomes, vary in quantity and shape. The other milk constituents are cells. Leukocytes are always present in milk. They account for about 0.01% of the volume of milk of healthy cows. The cell contains all cytoplasmic components such as enzymes. They are rich in catalase. So students, until now we have go through about the composition and structure of milk in details. Now we will discuss about the nutritional contribution of these components in human nutrition. Though you already know about the milk is called as complete food, but here we will try to understand the role and contribution of milk nutrients in our day-to-day dietetics. Let's know about milk as an energy-giving food. The energy in milk comes from its protein, carbohydrates, and fat, with the exception of skim milk that has virtually no fat. So its energy comes only from proteins and carbohydrates. The calorific value of milk varies depending on the fat content. For example, whole standardized milk contains 3.5% milk fat, so provides 68 kilocalories approximately per 100 ml. The semi-skim milk contains around 1.7% milk fat, so it provides around 47 kilocalories per 100 ml. And skim milk, which has 0.3 to 0.5% of milk fats and so provides 35 kilocalories per 100 ml approximately. Milk contains approximately 4.9% carbohydrates in the form of lactose. There is approximately 9.7 gram of lactose in 1 glass of 200 milk of semi-skimmed milk. The carbohydrate content of sweetened milk, flavored milk, and homogenized milk is more due to added sugar. So their energy value increases accordingly as per the amount of added sugar. Similarly, lactose-free milk, which is specially designed for the children or people who have lactose intolerance, contains literally no lactose, and so this milk's calorific value also gets changed accordingly. Students, now have a look on nutritive value of milk fats. Whole milk contains approximately 3.4% fats. The fatty acid in milk fats are approximately 65% saturated, 29% monounsaturated, and 6% polyunsaturated. The polyunsaturated fatty acids in milk fat include small amounts of essential fatty acids, that is linoleic and linolenic acid, and approximately 5% trans fatty acids. The cholesterol is associated with fats, so the content will vary depending on the fat content of the milk and its products. In this way, 1 glass of 2% milk fats contains around 8% of daily reference intake for cholesterol. Now we will discuss about the nutritive contribution of milk proteins. Milk is a source of high biological protein, which means that it provides us with all the essential amino acids that are needed for the growth of the body. Milk contains approximately 3.5% proteins by its weights, which can be divided into two main groups as earlier we have discussed in details, that are caseins and whey proteins. Approximately 80% of protein in milk is casein and 20% of whey proteins. Whey protein comprises the rest of the milk protein and is composed predominantly of beta lactoglobulins and alpha lactoglobulins. Whey proteins have been projected to have some benefit to athletes for muscle recovery and for preventing mental fatigue. Dear students, let's have a look about the vitamins contribution of the milk. First, we will discuss about the fat-soluble vitamins. Vitamin A is present in whole milk in some amounts. However, its level in semi-skim milk and skim milk are much lower due to their low fats content. Whole milk contains approximately 62 microgram of vitamin A per 200 glass of milk, which provides about 9% of an adult's daily vitamin A requirements. Vitamin D plays an important role in the absorption of calcium and phosphorus, which are rich in milk and is essential for healthy bones and teeth. There is only trace amounts of vitamin D in milk, and in fact, so the milk often processed with vitamin D, which is fortified in it. Vitamin E is naturally found in low levels within milk. A 200 glass of milk of semi-skim milk normally provides 0.04 milligram of vitamin E. Vitamin K is essential for correct blood clotting. There is little or no vitamin K naturally found in milk. However, due to the processing, cheese contains some amounts of vitamin K. Dear students, now we will discuss about the water-soluble vitamin contents of the milk. Milk contains appreciable amounts of many of the B vitamins and is especially rich in vitamin B12, which is predominantly found in animal foods only. Therefore, milk and dairy products are excellent source of this vitamin in the in our vegetarian diet. 200 ml of semi-skim milk will approximately provide an adult person with the full daily requirements for vitamin B12. Thiamine and riboflavin are also present in milk. 200 ml of semi-skim milk will provide an adult person with 15% of their daily requirements for the thiamine. Similarly, 200 ml of semi-skim milk provides 45% of adults' daily requirement for riboflavin. So, students, after going through the vitamin A and other vitamins contribution of the milk, now we will discuss about the minerals and trace elements nutrition of the milk. Milk contains calcium and phosphorus in good amounts. Calcium of milk is very much important. Milk is a good source of calcium, which is essential for the healthy growth and maintenance of teeth and bones, and is a pivotal in blood clotting and muscle contraction. A 200 ml milk of semi-skimmed type can provide a 6-year-old child with over half, that is 55% of his or her calcium requirements, and also will provide an adult person with over a third, that is 35% of his or her daily calcium requirement. Phosphorus is also an essential mineral for healthy bones and teeth, as well as cell membrane structure, tissue growth, and regulation of pH levels in the body. A 200 ml of semi-skim milk will provide a child of 6 years with 55% of their daily requirement for phosphorus and 36% of adults' requirement on daily basis. To continue with the trace elements composition of the milk, now we will discuss about the other uh, trace elements that are magnesium, zinc and potassium. As you know, magnesium is abundant in the bone and is in all cells in the body. 1 glass of semi-skim milk will provide a child with 19% of her or his daily requirement for magnesium and an adult with 7.5% of RD of the magnesium. Zinc is a constituent of many enzymes in the body. Its role is to fight infections, growth and development, for sexual development, wound healing, and for our sense of taste. 1 glass of 200 ml of semi-skim milk will provide school-age children with 12.3% of their daily requirement for zinc, and to an adult with 11% of his or her daily requirement of zinc. Potassium is mainly present in the fluid of the cells in the body and is important for fluid balance, muscle contraction, nerve conduction, as well as for correct functioning of the heart. 1 glass of 200 ml of semi-skim milk will provide a child with around 29% of his or her daily requirement for potassium, and to an adult about 25% of his or her RD of potassium on daily basis. So it is clear, students, that milk contains all important vitamins, minerals and trace elements and is a supplement for our daily diet with nutrients to a great extent in terms of recommended dietary allowances. Dear students, now it's time to sum up this module. From all going through all the details of the composition and nutritive value of the milk, we can say milk is a nature's ideal food for infants and growing children. In fact, milk is now considered not only desirable but it is an essential part of the food of the newborn. Milk is almost an ideal food. It has high nutritive value. It supplies body building proteins, body forming minerals, health giving vitamins and minerals, and furnishes energy giving lactose and milk fat. Its unique physical and biochemical and chemical properties make it suitable to develop variety of products and huge proportion of desserts and confectionery products.